Hi, I'm Leo, and welcome to the Element Lounge. Be sure to kick off your shoes, leave all your cares at the door, and when you enter in, be ready to vibe with me while we talk all things life. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hey, Elements, welcome back to the channel. This is Leo, and I'm going to say this probably at the beginning of a couple of the future upcoming uploads, rather, just to remind you guys. And then after a while, you will pretty much be able to see what the routine of things will be on here when I am able to make an upload. And that is that it will start in the members only. The members will get first access to the content, and then eventually it will be put on the regular outside of our layer, rather, and stuff. So I just want the members to know that, and that is that. But anyway, guys, I want to jump real quick into what has been trending. If you all do not know, I don't know how many of you all have been following the Basketball Wives show. In the beginning, when it first started years ago, I did watch it, but then, as with many different shows, I fell off from watching it, especially when different cast members start leaving, or it starts to be to where I think what ends up happening in a lot of reality shows is that in the beginning of the reality shows, I know especially years back, to me, they were more real. But then different castmates start to get kicked off or leave, and you got other folks coming on, and either they don't make good castmates or they start to produce themselves. It just started to be a bunch of mess. So you kind of fall off, which is exactly what happened with me being a viewer of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think when Nene left, I didn't really too much watch it then. I think the only reason why I did watch it was for Candy, but then when she left, that was it. I just started watching it again when season 16 came, and that was because Portia was coming back, because I've always liked Portia. But anyway, getting back to the Basketball Wives, I use that comparison because it has been the same thing when it comes to the Basketball Wives. I kind of got tired of these tired storylines and everything like that. But what caught my attention was, of course, the dynamic between Jackie and her daughter, which before the season even started, there have been different little clips to let us know that there was going to potentially be a fight between Jackie and this particular daughter, because I believe she has two daughters. Okay. And so the episode finally aired, and I ended up watching it. And as if you have seen these clips, you see that Jackie had to basically get the spirit of Joe Jackson and slap the fire out of Chantal, which is the name of the daughter. From the episodes I have been checking out, even before this particular episode, Chantal to me has been being extremely disrespectful to Jackie just throughout the entire season. It's quite clear that there has been issues between Jackie and Chantal, Jackie and her, I believe it's the oldest daughter. So there's been issues over the years. We've all heard a lot of rumors, but to actually see them on this platform, I think is very disturbing. Chantal is disrespectful as hell. And I, like a lot of different people I've been seeing all over different social media, even before we actually saw this exchange between them, which was very disturbing, feel like she does not need to be on that show. I do understand that there's different things that, people display to us on different platforms. And of course, it's not going to be all kid friendly or it's going to be full of drama. But certain things, I think, when you have issues this deep, it should not be to this level. So I look at VH1, whatever network they on here. I look at Shawnee O'Neal, whoever is in charge of the show. I'm looking at y'all sideways, because why are y'all even allowing this to be aired? I feel like the whole season should have been just strapped, because Chantal has been putting Jackie in a very, very messed up position. And I just, it's almost no words. Like, honestly, I had to check myself, because I got so triggered when I actually saw the clip that my Pooh Bear, he asked me something. I kind of snapped, and I had to correct myself on that because I got so dang on triggered. And this is the thing. I understand that everybody's dynamics with their parents are different. You get what I'm saying? I feel like whether, when you have your parents, like those of us who have been blessed to be raised with both of our parents, or just have both of them in our lives, I feel like there are different growing pains that we tend to go through that I think are normal. You know what I'm saying? But there has never been no point in time, especially when it comes to my mother, because I'm going to go on the mother aspect, due to the fact that this is a mother and daughter scenario. I've never, ever even had the nerve to raise my hand to my mother in any type of way, raise my voice to her, anything like that. And I've always complimented my mother and say how blessed I am when it comes to her, because my mother has blessed me enough to deal with me at each stage of my life, meaning that each stage, when, of course, when I was a kid, teenager, adult, a young adult, fully grown woman, my mother deals with me as that. Of course, she is still my mother. She is not going to play with me, but she deals with me differently now that I'm in my 40s than how she may have dealt with me when, of course, I was under her roof, or, when I was in my early 20s. Also, too, she raised me to be independent enough to where, I respect her, but I also am not afraid to tell her things. I'm not afraid to stand up for myself, or, if I disagree with something, I'm not afraid to tell her that. I'm not afraid to tell my mother no. I'm not afraid to tell either one of my parents no. And, we'll try to be in the most respectful way as possible. I'm not one of those grown kids to where, and I've mentioned this before, to where you see some people, their parents have had such a control or a hold over them their entire lives, to where you will see a 50-year-old reverting back to a child just off of something regular. And that's not me. They raised me to be an adult that they see that I am. So that's that. But at no point in time, have I ever thought to even take it that far. And I don't blame Jackie for slapping the fire out of Chantel's mouth. I just think that's crazy, because the dynamic that you will notice if you watch any of the clips of the season is that every time Jackie agrees to sit down and to try to hear Chantel out about whatever her issues are, it's like Chantel is attacking her from when they first enter the room. It's not no type of, let me change my tone, let me try to discuss the issues. It's just she's on full attack mode. And anybody with a brain understands that that is not the way that you are to solve anything with anybody, no matter how upset you are. If you are going to, or even want to work through an issue with someone, you have to approach them in the right way. You have to put your ego down to the side to approach them in the right way. And you also have to put yourselves in their shoes, meaning that if somebody comes to me and they want to have a discussion about something that may be difficult, if you yell at me, if you have a certain disrespectful tone with me, I'm not going to hear what it is that you're saying, versus you actually making an effort to be careful on how you say some things, your tone, and all of that. Your tone, and not like they say, is not always what you say, is how you say it. It definitely matters. That's definitely a skill. It's definitely an art, that I myself have had to work on throughout the years. Because when I was younger, oh my God, my tone was terrible. And I just was so used to just letting stuff fly out my mouth. Into one of my older coworkers at a job that I work with, she pulled me to the side and she schooled me on that. But she did it in a way to where I was able to actually open to what she was saying. You get what I'm saying? So she taught me a lesson on even the way that she addressed me. And so my point in saying that is Chantel went about it wrong, even trying to talk to her. And the other castmates were saying that Jackie was wrong for constantly walking out. And I'm thinking, like, okay, y'all don't understand because y'all don't have y'all daughters being disrespectful to y'all. So you won't be able to understand where Jackie is coming from because she realizing that this is her show that she's been on for years. She got her daughter coming on here, so it's already gonna be embarrassing for whatever's gonna fly out her mouth. But then to have your grown daughter sitting here constantly trying you, and Jackie probably was walking out in order to prevent what eventually ended up happening, and that is her basically having to go upside Chantel's head because I'm looking at something that I gave birth to, constantly disrespecting the hell out of me, also constantly poking. And that is what Chantel was doing. And for me personally, I cannot stand that when it comes to anybody, is somebody that just continues to poke, 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 or don't know how to respect boundaries, or you can't just tell them something and they don't know how to just let shit go. They like a dog with a bone. And you're being like a dog with a bone, but expecting for it to be some type of resolve. And my thing to Chantel is this: I'm not going to just totally dismiss how she's feeling. Jackie may not have been the best mother to her. You know, Another thing you learn as being a parent is that parenting is not easy. It's not easy at all. And you don't get to dictate to your child what their experience is. So I'm not going to totally dismiss Chantel's issues. But what I am going to say is this: what's the point of you continuously sitting down with Jackie if you are hell bent on not solving? You can't say that you want to solve something, but then turn around and constantly disrespect her and constantly poke at her. I would respect it more if you would just decide to not have a relationship with her, because it's as though you're trying to torture. And that's enough to make anybody snap. I'm surprised it took Jackie this long to go upside her head, because it would have been me the first time. Okay. And I pray. That's why I always say, even for me, I thank God about the relationship that me and my child have. And some people probably like, well, Leo, it ain't the same because your child is only 13. But I beg to differ, because we all know it's damn 10-year-olds out here who are super disrespectful, running away, stealing cars, doing all types of crazy mess. So that's why y'all always hear me say that I appreciate the fact that I have a good child. But I just could not imagine him being disrespectful to the point of where he actually has the audacity to try to, let alone talk to me. First of all, call me by my first name. That ain't something I've never done. Okay. I don't even think for the first few years of my life I even knew what my mama name was, because it was mama and it's still mama to this day. The only time I've ever had to say her name is if somebody was asking me what her name was. But even to this day, at the age of, God willing, a week after next, 44 years old, her name is mama, and her name gonna be mama to the end. And that's that. But I couldn't imagine my child, who I done gave birth to, calling me by my first name, but then disrespecting me, hanging around with my ops, talking mess to me about my ops, then doing it on a TV screen. And then, even after everything that you have done, you actually thought it was a good idea to physically put your hands on me, and you wondering and want to play the victim when I always knock you into the next universe. I'm not going to even say I wish Melvin would. I pray to God that he doesn't, because I don't give a damn how old he get. I don't give a damn whatever health condition I'm in. The day that that boy raised his hands to me, I'm not going to even say, because I don't see it happen. I don't even want to put that out in the universe. But my point in making this video is to say that they need to get Chantel ass off that show if they are to even have a next season, which I think that show definitely need to be gone. But if they are to even have a next season, Chantel do not need to be on there. I feel very bad for Jackie. I couldn't imagine, how she would feel having to go through that. But I am Team Jackie when it comes to that. And a lot of us are Team Jackie, that Chantel deserved exactly what she got. and Jackie should have did it sooner, you know. And that's that. It is levels to things, and it's the way that you do things. So y'all let me know what y'all think, if y'all have seen that clip or was able even to see that episode, or have even been seeing the dynamics between Jackie and her daughter on this show. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all feel like Jackie was wrong for, basically going upside Chantel's head? And that's it, Elements. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me in the Element Lounge. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, and I would love to see you again. If you happen to have any opinions about anything that was discussed, feel free to leave it in the comments section. All I ask is that you be respectful and adult about it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.